Welcome to C.S. Joseph Podcast. I'm your host, C.S. Joseph. Today's episode, why is the EgoHacker community judged as a cult? Fascinating. It's not a cult, it's a culture, actually. It's a culture of people who go out of their way to fulfill our mission, which is to obliterate and absolutely destroy and remove fatherlessness from the face of the earth, because we maintain that fatherlessness is ultimately the one thing that is plaguing the human race, and that will ultimately lead to the destruction of the earth, as prophesied by the prophet Malachi in Malachi chapter 4, verses 5 and 6. And in the last days I will send my prophet Elijah to you. He will turn the hearts of fathers to their sons and the hearts of sons to their fathers, or else I will strike the land, the entire earth, with a decree of utter destruction. And this is done in the same way when Adam was not being masculine, and because he was not being masculine, the earth was cursed. Cursed is the ground because of you, and by the sweat of your brow will you eat of it for the rest of your life, and then you will die. Sad. But fatherlessness. Fatherlessness is the result of the mature feminine not being around. Fatherlessness is the result of the mature masculine not being around. And this is ultimately the vision and the purpose of the EgoHacker community, where we utilize concepts like Jungian analytical psychology and four sides dynamics to know and navigate the four sides of the mind, using the type grid to understand human nature, using the octagram to understand human nurture, so that we can promote personal understanding of ourselves, so that we can accept ourselves finally, so that we can respect ourselves, understand ourselves, and ultimately love ourselves, such that after we have been able to do so, then we can begin to love our neighbor, because we are able to understand our neighbor, respect our neighbor, interface with our neighbor, love our neighbor as a result. It's just a culture, folks. A cult implies that you can't leave it after you join it. That's a cult. People come and go from this community all the time. They come, they get their answers, and then they leave. That's natural. I don't feel bad about it. It's fine. And oftentimes they come, they get the answers, and those answers are not what they were looking for, because those answers directly challenge their ego investments. Talking about you, INFPs. Talking about you, ENFPs. Talking about you, ESFPs. Talking about you, ISFPs. FI parents and FI heroes have that problem the most. It's not to say FI child doesn't have that problem either. FI optimistics really care about the ego investments more than anyone. But the thing is that as soon as ego investments are challenged, they leave. But then after they go through life and they realize that the answers that they got when they were in the community were correct, and then they end up returning to the community, albeit very apologetic for the things that they have said. It happens all the time. INFPs show up, they get pissed, they leave for 6 months, they come back, okay, Chase, yeah, you were right. Okay, fair enough. But no one forced them to stay. No one forced them to stay. We're just a culture. We're a culture online, and we are a culture here in this town. As more ego hackers move out here, as more people within the community get involved locally with the community, and give back, help with families, local churches, or even small community groups in various places. And that's a thing. It's normal. It happens all the time. It's just ultimately what we're all about. But it's judged by but the reason why it's judged by a cult, I mean, come on, think about it. It's judged as a cult because of cancel culture. Just look up C.S. Joseph on Reddit and see all the hatred. It's so funny because the more hatred people have for me, the more people enter the community, because people start reading about C.S. Joseph and how evil he is and how he's this big cult leader, whatever. And then people read about it on Personality Database. They read about it on Reddit. They read about it all over the place. They read about it on Quora even. And then as a result of doing that on Quora and all these other online locations, Twitter even, Discord even, They're like, hey, I got to go check this guy out, see how much of an asshole he is. And then they come to the YouTube channel or start listening on the podcast. And then they realize this guy, C.S. Joseph, was actually correct all along, and that those people don't know what they're talking about, and then they end up becoming ego hackers. I think that's hilarious. So yes, please keep telling people we are a cult. Please keep spewing out all of this negativity. It only makes us stronger. Any attention you give us, it makes us stronger, it makes us grow, and we grow our culture. A culture where we have truly masculine men, where we are building men with our men's group, for example, to ultimately become high-value men, the most high-value men in culture, the most high-value men in the world. I mean, even Chris Taylor went so far as to say that if anyone does not know Jungian analytical psychology, if they do not know four-sides dynamics, they will be left behind in the gene pool. They'll be left behind. Not having this knowledge will put you at a severe disadvantage in life. And those of us ego hackers who do have this information, who do live our lives by these principles, by this praxeology of Jungian analytical psychology, of promoting self-understanding and understanding of your neighbor, ultimately to remove fatherlessness, will be the highest quality people who walk the earth. Within our men's group, we're promoting masculinity, we're promoting masculine frame. You know, we learned from the red pill that it was necessary to have masculine frame. My biggest problem with the red pill is the red pill doesn't even teach you how to have frame. It doesn't at all. It just tells you why and what and why. It doesn't tell you how. To get the how, you have to learn that from Zach Rody. He wrote Don't Let Her Lead, which all men should read. And then he wrote Irresistibly Feminine, Worthy Woman, and Show Him Your Heart. Those 3 books every woman out there should read. But hey, if you're a man, you need to read those books too, because you need to take responsibility and have the frame, ultimately the foundation for your relationships in your life. Because why is fatherlessness a big problem? What is the number one reason behind fatherlessness? Well, it's the problem. The problem is that women are not taught how to treat men. They are taught what to expect from men, but not taught how to treat them. In the same way that men are taught how to treat women, but they are not taught what to expect from women, basically. And because of that, men can't even have masculine frame. So we teach the men in our community to have masculine frame. We teach them about fitness. We teach them about survival. We encourage them to get combat training, to understand weapons, survival techniques, ultimately, how to become better men. For the women, we do the same. We teach them how to be more feminine. We teach them how to be beautiful. We teach them how to be healthy. We teach them how to be mothers. We teach them how to stop competing with fellow women, but help their fellow women, right? And ultimately, we teach everyone how to enjoy life and to not let anyone out there take that away from them and take that opportunity away from them. But hey, you want to label us a cult? Be my guest. Be my guest. People that label us a cult are just afraid. They're afraid of our culture. They're afraid of what this culture will mean. They're afraid that this culture one day, and I tell you the truth, this culture one day will become a nation. And that nation will wield power. Power on the earth. A nation. A nation that is hidden within all nations. But this nation will exist. And this nation, hell-bent on removing fatherlessness, hell-bent on bringing back masculinity and femininity, hell-bent on becoming the highest value men, hell-bent on becoming the highest value women, hell-bent on loving their neighbors as themselves. But hey, we're a cult. We don't expect everyone to join. We don't expect everyone to stay. Come as you are, come as you need, get what you need, leave. It's okay. Participate in the community, participate in our culture, that's okay. You're welcome to do so. And you're also welcome to leave. I'm not going to stop you. You have absolute freedom of choice. But while you're out there judging and allowing your ego investments to get in the way of your life and make you more miserable and inhibit you from having really good relationships with people in your life, inhibiting you from being able to love your neighbor as yourself, which means you'd also have to love yourself first in order to love your neighbor. Because, for example, if you don't know what your personality type is, if you don't know what your octagram is, your nurture, if you don't know your nature and you don't know your nurture, you're not going to be able to know anyone else's nature. You're not going to be able to know anyone else's nurture, which means, you'll be expecting everyone else to treat you a certain way because you know who you are, but then you don't know who they are, and you're not going to be able to treat them that way. So it's impossible for you to love your neighbors yourself. So you would have to have this knowledge. And so while we, the ego hackers, are getting better and better and better every single day, well, the rest of you in the world are falling behind. And that's fine. Go ahead. Fall behind. It just means we're going to win. It just means you're not going to be able to compete with us. You'll never be able to compete with us. Never. There's nothing you can do about it. So, you get to make the choice. I'm not here to take your freedom away. I have Expert Intuition Hero. I'm here to give you choices. I'm here to give you freedom. I am not here to take away your freedom. I am here to give you a vision, and I'm here to give you a better future. For it is written, "For I know the plans that I have for you, to not harm you, to prosper you, and to give you a future and a hope." And this is how I live my life. I may not do it in the affiliative, churchy way that you all expect. I do it in a very pragmatic, independent way, where even through pragmatism, I can increase your welfare. I can prosper you. I can not harm you. I can give you a future and a hope. For it is also written, "If the people lack vision, they will perish." And that's all the Ego Hacker Community is, a vision for the people for a better future and a better tomorrow. A tomorrow where the earth is not cursed with a decree of utter destruction. Because if you were to ask me right now, Chase, do you think we have a future? Do you think your children have a future? I would say no. But because the Ego Hacker Community exists, because of our culture that is permeating the planet right now, a culture that is ultimately becoming the salt of the earth, this culture is the only reason that we do have a future, folks. You can tell me I sound like Jim Jones. You can tell me I sound like some cult leader, whatever. I don't care. I am a leader. And I'm a leader of a culture. And I'm leading by example. Working very hard every single day to be as masculine as possible and be an example of masculinity to the women in my life, but also to the men in my life, even more so, and most of all, my children and the children of the Ego Hacker Community. And throughout the last 5 years, there have been children born to the Ego Hacker Community. And these children are the future. And these children are the ones who will have a future because this culture exists. Let the haters hate. Let them all hate us. We challenge their ego investments. Let them cancel us. The more they cancel us, the more they hate us, the more they talk mess about us behind our backs, the more power we gain. The more people they bring to us. The more polarizing we are because we know the truth, because we see a better tomorrow and a better future and a better way to live life. The more the hungrier of us will come and they will be fed. And they'll have a better future. Because unlike everybody else in the world, this aimless world that we live in, we have a vision and they don't. They will perish and we won't. And that's a fact. So don't be afraid. That's why we're developing this course coming out just around the corner called Ego Hacking Your Fear. It's going to be made available. We're going to take pre-orders on it this week. It's going to be great. It's going to be the biggest course we've ever done. Over 25, maybe up to 35 hours of video content. Everybody is represented. All of the 16 types is represented. We're going to be talking about cognitive origins. In the masterclass, we're going to be going really deep into the octagram, as well as the new form of the octagrid. I'm going to be touring the octagrid for everyone. You're going to learn new forms of ego hacking people's nurture, not just their nature. And it's going to be absolutely fantastic, where you're able to ego hack yourself and give yourself a better future, but then able to ego hack other people and give them a better future. People in your lives, people in your immediate family, people you go to work with, people at your church, people in your community, people who are in your family. Any human being, any person is in your life will be able to benefit from this. And then as a result, we're the light of the world. We're not going to, put that light underneath a basket and be snuffed out. Because every time someone says anything negative about us, it just fans the flames. It fans the flames. Then one day, there will be a day where I'm no longer here, but the vision will live on. I've already taken steps to that end. The vision will live on, the science will continue, the psychology will continue, the promotion of masculinity, the promotion of femininity will continue. We will have the absolute best relationships out of everyone who walks the earth. We will have the best future out of everyone who walks the earth, and we will have the best chance at happiness out of everyone on the earth. And anyone who just hates us, well, they're just envious of us. They're just jealous of us because their ego investments are getting in the way. Their sacred cows are getting in the way of their own happiness. And that's who we are to them. Just a challenge to their thinking. So no, the EgoHacker community is not a cult. It is just a culture. A culture where anyone can freely participate and anyone can freely leave. Hopefully they take the lessons with them that they have learned and have a better life and a better welfare as a result. Hopefully, because of our culture, fatherlessness will finally be removed from the face of the earth. And at last, we will have a future not just for ourselves, but a future for our children. There's no greater purpose than this. So, anyway, folks, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.